Hello, Bearable Traders. My name is Paras Jandwani, and I am here for another recap for today. It's Friday. I did not have a good day. I'm ending my day at a loss. And but before we do on the recap and see what we learned, let's congratulate Andrew. Andrew finally reached the Mount Everest summit. So that is such an inspiring thing. That is such an amazing thing. So hopefully he comes back safe and join us in the Bearable Traders chat room and trade and continues to trade with us. So it's gonna be amazing to see him come back with that amazing capturing that particular Mount Everest summit. What a news. So now let's go back to the recap. And I traded Tesla, I traded Foot Locker, and I traded Apple. So on Tesla turned out to be the one of the best tickers for me today, and the stock was actually it had a really nice opening drive, very nice pulled back, and it claimed it held the VWAP and it claimed back up. Now the volume was coming in at the open. I did not trade it, but as the volume was coming in, I was looking for the break of 180. And that's where the 180 is basically the high of the day, and I was looking for the break of 180. The volume came in. As soon as it held, I took a long position, popped back up, really nice break of 180. As and when it held, I added more for another continuation above 180 and break of another high of the day. It again did break the high of the day, and then it was holding the 180 area very nicely. So I said, you know what, there is definitely a reason for it to hold a 180 level, and a lot of people were buying on the tape, and I added long to capture that area from 182. From 180 to 182, but overall my entry was 179.2. So 179.2 to 182, close to a $3 move. And again, it pulled back to the moving averages, held at this 180.50 area. And when I was trying to break out, I was looking for the break of 181 and for another break of high of the day of 182, but it just did not, and I stopped out at break even. So that was a very profitable trade on Tesla. And that's the beauty of, keep adding it, recycling it, adding it, recycling it, and continue to take those profits and have a really good profitable ticker on the day. I also traded Foot Locker, and Foot Locker was in play due to the news, but this is one of the difficult stocks to trade because it skips a lot of prices, it has a wider spread, so you really want to have to manage your risk very efficiently to be able to take that. And this is just one trade all on the short position. So my thesis behind was that this was trying to pop back up, but it was down 25%, and I was looking that the stock's character has changed, and it is the fundamentals has changed. So you really want to see some action and confirmation on the tape for a bearish indication than a bullish indication. And as and when it popped up over the VWAP, but it couldn't hold it, I went short below the VWAP. This was a heavier size, tier 2 size, for a break of low of the day right here, and it did come off. It tried pulling back. I added a little bit. Added at the very heavy at the VWAP, but it popped up and I had to cut my size because my final stop out was anything above VWAP. If it closes above the VWAP, it would be my final stop out, but it popped and dropped. So I cut my size. When it came back in, I added more size here, but when it came back above, again it's popped up, and then I had to cut my size and hold it. Now when it came back below 31, and 31 was actually a very bearish indication on the tape. As soon as it broke, there was a very high chance that it continues, so I added back more size to it, and then looking for a continuation on the top side, bottom side. And now when it pulled back, I stopped out at break even. So that was my one trade on Foot Locker. Still a good profitable trade on the Foot Locker. And now let's talk about the Apple, which actually messed up my day. But there's a lot of learning hidden on that day, and I messed up. It's not the stock, but it's me who did not trade the ticker well. So let's talk about it. First, at the open, this is where I was talking in the chat room, where you will see some confirmation on the tape that 176 was selling, and 176 literally held it by the penny, and 176 was giving a huge indication for it to be a short. And that's when I shorted right here, added more. This was tier 2 size, continued, and it dropped really nicely. But at this point, the entire tape, or the buyers or sellers completely flipped, as in like the entire, on a continuous basis, every drop was being bought back up, and that's a bullish sign. So I did not even care for my position to come back to break even. I just took the final exit, let it out, and let the stock pop up higher. Now I was more biased on the higher side, because 176, I knew that there was a seller, and if it lifts that seller, it's actually can go for the high of the day. And I went long, added more to the position when it hold the 176, but it just did not have a continuation. I stopped out. Nothing wrong with this trade. It happens. 176 continues to be a very important level. And the second time, when it did not sell off again, ideally you want to see some sell off on the downside. It did not sell off again. It came back up. Now I'm again looking for the 176 to break. And these are not that big of a position. The first one was higher size because it claimed 176. But here I was thinking that if it pops back up and pulls back, that's where I would add more, because that's a confirmation. And it did not. It tried to pop up and then rejected, so I got stopped out. So again, nothing wrong with these two trades. Really nice. Now this is the third time it's happening. Third time again, 176, it comes back up, it consolidates. This is where this time it breaks. And I was talking in the chat room where that, you know what, the breakout volume is not there on Apple. And usually these areas, I was trying to see if this area for a higher continuation, it needs volume to process. But it was a strong rejection from 176.2. As soon as it came out to my break-even point, I got stopped out. So again, nothing wrong with the first trade, second trade, third trade, fourth trade. This is a part of the process. I was still very high up on the day, and very positive on the day. But this is where I messed up. This is the area where I was still very much biased on the long side. The tape was bullish. The tape was giving me all the indications, and there were buyers, but the SPY was like popping up, and just because there was also a Fed Powell speaking, and so there's a lot of choppy action right there. But the volume was there for a continuation and break of 176. One of the biggest learning is you really want to wait for it to confirm. Obviously the tape was giving you an indication. In a couple of trades, first trade, second trade, third trade, I wasn't that big of a size, but as and when it was not working, I was trying to go bigger on the this position and this position, and in the last one I even went tier 2 size. So and that's why I gave my profits back in the last 3 trades that I had made on the day. And without any confirmation, I was anticipating it. And there are 2 mistakes here. One, first of all, it's you want to buy at the support and sell at the resistance. I was doing the opposite, and just the way how the psychology treats you, right? It's sometimes you are so biased that you want to make this work, and it doesn't work. The stocks have its own way to do it, but you still want to manage your risk. And what I was doing is I was buying at the resistance and selling at the support. And that's something that you should always avoid it. And I made that mistake because I was psychologically impacted. I really wanted for it to break the 176, and it never did. It never did. And I was trading the last couple of, or 2 or 3 last trades, I was trading with bigger size. So that's a huge learning, that first of all, you should be buying at the support, selling at the resistance, not the other way around. And when it pops up, the confirmation comes in when it pops back up and retests that particular 176 area. So a huge learning for me, as well as absolutely people who are watching the video. And this is where I messed up. I gave my profits back, and still ending the day in a negative. But overall, my week has been really profitable, so I'm glad with that. But did not trade really well in the last final piece of it. So that's that's a part of trading, guys. It's you really want to trade things right and trade things so that you can manage your risk and have a better risk reward. So yeah, so that's the recap for me. I know it went a little bit more on the timing side, so I hope you got a learning out of it as well. Thank you and have a great weekend and a great rest of your day. Thank you.